President Trump reiterating he does support our intelligence community, but how are they feeling tonight? Retired Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, also the former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, joins us now. General, always good to have you.
It's good to be with you.
Okay, so the president says today, I accept their findings. I fully support them. How do they feel tonight?
Well, I think those that are never Trumpers, those that have an issue with the president in general are going to play this up. But I think generally speaking, this did not have a great impact on the intelligence community. I think Dan Coats came out very quickly as the DNI and made a statement reiterating his support for the intelligence that's been presented to the president. And I think the president tried very hard to walk it back today and to reassure the intelligence community that he does take their information seriously. So I don't think that this is there's a lot of damage done here.
Okay, well, interesting tweet by Guy Benson, one of our contributors here. He's a guest often. He says this: the president routinely undermines the vital work of our intel community, whose officers labor to identify and eliminate threats. Yet former IC chiefs undermine their colleagues and fuel, quote, deep state stereotypes with unhinged pronouncements about, quote, treason and unseemly Holocaust comparisons. When it goes beyond that, they're talking about Kristallnacht and talking about impeachment and all kinds of other things. What do you make of those who've been part of the community, but the people that the president feels like have always had it out for him?
The president's words, whether you accept his apology and his explanation today, do not comport with his actions and his foreign policy towards Russia. He's been the toughest president on Russia, certainly that I can remember in my years. So all of this outrage, where was that outrage when Barack Obama leaned over to Medvedev and said, tell Putin I'll have more flexibility after my re-election? And Medvedev says, I will relay that to Vladimir. Where was the outrage? Was that not, I mean, if you want to call something seditious, I mean, is that not seditious? Under the definition that's being used now, I won't even say treasonous, as John Brennan said today, but I think that this outrage is purely political. Those on the right that came out against the president, I think the majority of them were doing that for political reasons as well. But what the president said was not right. It did undermine our intelligence community, and it was a serious mistake on his part. He has now tried to walk it back, and I think it's time that we look at the big picture. He is a strategic thinker, and he's also thinking in terms of Russia's impact on the North Korean situation.
Well, and let's talk about a number of the things that there seems to be a disconnect that a lot of folks in the media don't talk about. The arms sales of lethal use to Ukraine, the enormous amount of sanctions that we're at now, but between the Congress and President working together on those things, all kinds of other actions that have been taken with regard to expelling diplomats and those kinds of things. There seems to be a disconnect because even though the administration has taken a lot of tough stands, the president has verbally been kinder to Putin than a lot of people would want to admit or want to accept. But there seems to be a disconnect between the actions he's taken and the way the media covers Russian policy.
And there's nothing new there. I mean, really, there's nothing new there. How about the Russians that he targeted and killed in Syria? What about that? What about the fact that just last month, I think it was the 6th of June, he issued more sanctions towards Russia. The most sanctions, the most severe sanctions that we've probably ever in the history of Russia sanctioned them with. So I think that this, all this outrage and all this calling him treasonous and comparing this to 9/11 and Pearl Harbor and all that, come on, really? Find something to do, get a job or something. But this is over the top.
A lot of folks have jobs who are making those accusations, and a lot of people feel like those jobs aren't getting done. So we'll continue to monitor this and talk about the impact of all this backlash. General, great to have you with us tonight.
Good to be with you, Shannon.
Come back soon.